Alright guys, this is the January update for the 125. Just a quick overall. Fish are doing great. I ended up selling the Angelfish just because, I don't know, I didn't want to keep too much variety in terms of fish species in the tank. And yeah, so I got rid of those pairs, so they're gone. We go into a better home. And instead I think I got two more of the Roseline Sharks. They're like little baby ones. They're roaming somewhere. But yeah, that's the update in terms of the fish. They're doing pretty good. They're eating really well, but again, they really just kind of want to eat just the bloodworm or the black worms and really nothing else. So nothing you can do there other than just try to starve them a couple times. But plants on this side, pretty much the same. They're doing really well. I've been trying to group them up in, species, but I don't know, it gets out of control. The middle here, so I had the lotus. I have like the lotus, which were over here. I have two red and one green top here. They were over here in the middle. I ended up doing a switcheroo just because the lotus needs a little bit more light, and these high-grow SP Tigers, they're low light plants and they don't really need as much light, and also because they kind of branch out a lot anyways. I figured if I had them over here before, and if you look at my other videos, they kind of consume this whole area and they kind of branch out, taking like a lot of light. So I figured I'd just throw them in the middle. They'll branch out from the middle if they want more light, and I'll trim them back as needed. And already they're looking really good. So I just kind of threw those back there. This side is kind of dead because I actually removed a lot of the dead stuff that's been kind of just sitting here for a while. I cleaned it up, so it looks a lot better. I'm just waiting for a lot of these stems here to grow back to the top, cut them, put them down, and then get new, like a new bunch over here. I am experimenting with a couple of these. The fish are kind of in the way. These new plants here. I forget the name of these, but they're kind of like spiky-ish. They look pretty cool. I have some Vitella indicas, or I think they call like the true indicas or whatever. And I have a new I forgot what that was called. It's a Liguria species, but I forgot what it was called. That red one back there. I have two of those stems. I'm trying to grow a couple of those in. Yeah, so this side is pretty much, I just cleaned it up a lot. It looks pretty clean now. Pearl weeds are doing good. Every time I trim it back, it just grows like bushy. So it's actually pretty good. The one thing over here is like the japonicas. They were really bushy a couple months ago, and they're starting to kind of like melt back, I guess, and they're not as bushy. So I don't know if I want to get rid of these and just completely carpet it with the pearl weeds, or maybe it's just some sort of like different carpet. I'm still trying to debate if I want to keep the japonicas or not. But yeah, so that's in terms of the plants. So what's new with the tank? I have this my old pump here that I was kind of pumping back there before for flow. I threw it back on there. I have a new sterilizer. It is the Aqua, I think 2000 plus. So it just kind of hangs on the outside, and you basically pump water into here. There's a light bulb in here, basically sterilizes the water, and it gets dropped back into here. So I kind of had to rig this a little bit in terms of to reduce the noise, because it just basically throws the water back in here and it makes like kind of like a waterfall noise, kind of loud. So I just grabbed like basically a styrofoam or a foam pad from like a filter that I had extra, threw it under here, so it kind of silences the water a lot. Without this, it's actually pretty loud. I'm actually gonna just show you here. So it's pretty loud, and also it's because of my pump. This pump is actually pretty strong. It pumps back the water pretty good. So that's new. And then a sterilizer just to help out with the fish. This tubing kind of runs kind of wild in there, but figured That's the best I can do. I also before I had the diffuser for the CO2 on this side, and I was looking at a couple videos of like CO2 reactors and whatnot, and I was like, I don't want to spend that money. And a lot of the reactors, you kind of have to, you know, plumb it and all that. And I was like, I'm gonna kind of rig this kind of, I don't know, ghetto style. But so pretty much I moved the diffuser down here, put it right under the intake of my FX5. So I would say maybe 70% of the bubbles goes into the FX5, and it goes, you know, all the way to down here, bloop, and goes up out here and gets pumped back out. The other half, if you can see here, it gets pumped into that other pump that I have that goes to the sterilizer. And then a very small amount of CO2, as you can see, is left or escapes and goes back up to the top. And which is really good, because before, at the rate I'm pumping the CO2 into this tank, it was like I was wasting like CO2 like a lot. So right now, I was able to, like, I also had to move it over here, but it's looking pretty fast. But I was able to dial down the PSI down to only like 8 PSI. Before I was running maybe like 12 PSI, maybe 11 PSI, and the blink right here is probably, yeah, it's below ones. It was a lot faster than that, and I was pumping more PSI. So definitely, I was able to cut down the CO2, and it gets the same result. So I'm saving CO2 and saving a little bit of money. But yeah, other than that, everything else is looking good. I don't remember, but I think I had one casualty on the clam. One of them just randomly died and just opened up. So I had 4 in here, but now I only have 3. So yeah. Anyways, that is the update on the 125. Peace.